Welcome to DorkDuo. We are the Dorks. I am Adam, and this is Steve. And this week, we are talking No Man's Sky, Pokemon, and other nerdly news. And this is going to be one short episode because this week was really slow. There was no big news this week, so
it was really inconsiderate of the whole world to not have anything going on that we could talk about
yeah.
because that makes
So
our job so much more difficult.
unless we really inflate our humble opinions at the end, this will probably be less than an hour long. So yeah.
So consider this like a diet episode or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this way we're not talking about a bunch of stuff we don't care about and just padding time. So,
Exactly.
it'll be short and sweet, which
So
is
I guess
good.
what we're saying is you're welcome.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the only bit of movie news that we have this week, and that is that Deadpool 2 may have found a new director in David Leitch. I think that's how you pronounce that. Who is the director of John Wick? And I've not actually seen John Wick, but I've heard it's really good. And I
I
heard it has
mean,
a lot of really good action scenes and stuff, so that seems like a good fit. Um,
but is it
I
funny?
um okay, do you know what the plot of John Wick is?
No.
Okay, the plot of John Wick is a former hitman who is now retired and because I guess apparently he promised his dead girlfriend that he was going to stop being a hitman, and she
Of
gave him
course.
and she
Sure,
gave
sure.
him a puppy, and now she's
Uh,
dead, and so now the only thing he cares about is this puppy that his dead girlfriend gave him. uh these other mobsters show up and kill his puppy, and then he goes on a one man quest for revenge
oh my
against
god.
basically everybody.
Okay, so that sounds stupid, but that
It's
sounds
amazing.
almost exactly like one of the plots from one of the Doom games, where Hell
Seriously?
steals Doom Guy's bunny.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So
But
that's
yeah,
that's just as dumb.
see, having a plot as stupid and basic as that, uh, that makes sense to have the guy who made that also be in the Deadpool universe. You
You
know,
know what? I kind of agree, actually. I
I
feel
think it
like
totally works.
if you could sit there straight faced and make a movie about a road trip about rescuing a dog through the faces of other mobsters, I think that's Deadpool all over the place.
I know,
So
it really works for me. But it should be said that this guy, David Leitch, again, hope I'm pronouncing that right, is not. It's not confirmed. He hasn't been locked in or anything like that. There are still a couple of other people who are being considered. But I think what we can take from this is that there are plenty of people interested in directing Deadpool. And I'm not worried about Deadpool 2. I think it's gonna turn out just fine. I feel bad that Tim Miller had to leave, but I think we got this, you know? So
yeah, I think you're
I'm
probably
feeling
right. I'm
good.
not really worried about it about anybody like dropping the ball as far as coming up with our director here, because I'm pretty sure like you said, there's probably a line. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to weed out the best person.
actually, I did see I didn't write this down, but I did see a news story earlier this week that kind of went into more detail about what Tim Miller wanted to do with Deadpool, and apparently he wanted three times the budget he had on the first movie, and he wanted to make a more traditional superhero flick. And Ryan Reynolds was not having any of that. He wanted something that had a small budget, a little bit more than the first one, but not a whole lot more.
Maybe enough for a fifth character.
Yeah, right. He wanted a little bit more money, but Ryan Reynolds wanted it to be a funny movie. He wanted it to be kind of like the same kind of style as a we made this movie on the fly kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Whereas Tim
Held
Miller,
together with spit and glue. Sure.
exactly, it's held together with love. Whereas Tim Miller wanted a stylized big budget superhero thing, and
I'm kind of trying to like imagine Big Pool, but like Iron Man movies, and I
yeah,
can't do it
I see. That's the thing is I
because when you do that, you
honestly,
wind up with the Wolverine movie.
yes, yeah, exactly. I'm really, I gotta say, I'm really happy that Tim Miller didn't get what he wanted, because I don't want that. I don't want a traditional perfectly made superhero movie. I want Deadpool to be weird, and I want him to be chatting up his cab driver named Dupinder. You know, like that's it's Deadpool. Like I want that.
I did really love those scenes with the cab
Me
driver.
too. Me too. I really
Probably
liked
like the
it.
least constructive part of the movie right there, but there's just something about it.
It works. It really works. And so I'm really glad that it seems like Fox is actually siding with Reynolds, who really does understand this character. Like Reynolds gets it. He knows what we want, and he knows what he wants, and he knows the care. I'm feeling good. I'm happy about this.
Yep, I'm not really that worried about this one. I think this is all going to work itself out. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be
Uh,
good.
so now we're going to move on to video game news because that's it. That's all the movie news we had. And the biggest video game news, actually probably the biggest news of the week, if you're being completely honest, is Hello Games, which is the company behind No Man's Sky. Their Twitter account accidentally tweeted, "No Man's Sky was a mistake." That's it.
Whoopsie daisy.
No Man's Sky was a mistake, which is a really, really bad thing for a developer to say, even if it's true, which it is.
Well, yes, but generally they don't say it themselves. They
Yeah.
just rely on us to say it for them.
And it's unclear at the moment what exactly happened because they are claiming that their account was hacked, but other reports are saying that it was a disgruntled employee. Other reports are saying that it was not only a disgruntled employee, but it was Sean Murray, who is like the CEO of Hello Games. He's like the guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, that if that's true, that's a
Well,
huge
hey,
deal.
if he gets to write it, nobody can tell him he can't.
Well, what weirds me out about this is like if I'm a hacker and I hack into someone's Twitter account, I'm not going to make one solitary tweet and then never do anything ever again. You know, like I'm gonna change their photo. I'm gonna change their cover photo. I'm gonna tweet like 1,000 different things making fun of them. Like I'm not gonna do one tweet and then just leave it at that. Like why would you who would do that as a hacker? It's just to me this feels more like a disgruntled employee situation.
Well, if you wanted it to look like the company did it themselves and set up this little
That's
controversy here,
that's
then I
true.
suppose you would just make the one.
I suppose that's true. And that's the thing is I don't I'm completely speculating. I don't know for sure what happened, but my gut is telling me that it wasn't just a simple hack job. It
No,
seemed
I
to
don't. I
me
don't really buy that either.
it
I think
seemed
I
to
think
me like
somebody was
it's
a little peeved over there, and then they got reined in before they could do any real damage.
yeah, that's what it feels like to me too. That is definitely it.
Which I
I
didn't care about No Man's Sky to begin
see
with, so I'm
I
not
know.
hurt at all by this. But I think
See,
it's
yeah, like
hilarious.
I didn't really care about it either. No Man's Sky was always that thing that I was curious about, but I always had a hard time getting excited for it because I knew so little about it. Like everything they said about the game was so vague. It was always like you can do anything, and there's all these different worlds. It's amazing, and it's like okay, but what's the plot? What do you do? What's the driving
What's the
force of the
objective?
game?
What's the goal? What's to keep me going?
Yeah, exactly. What is the game? And
Well, to be fair, you could say that same thing of Minecraft, and Minecraft is like fun for some
Well,
people.
see, that's true. But the thing about Minecraft, and I think the real driving force of Minecraft is building. That's that's
Well,
what keeps
yes,
my
Minecraft does have a
if
blatant
Minecraft
advantage in
didn't
its
have
crafting
building,
part.
if Minecraft was just you're in this blocky world surrounded by, weird blocky creatures and you have to survive and you can't build anything, I don't think anyone would care. I think that Minecraft would be like that one would be like Spore, that thing that everyone was
Ah,
like, "Oh
yes.
yeah, that. What is that again?" Like building is such a huge thing with Minecraft that I don't I feel like if No Man's Sky introduced building somehow, that actually would be kind of cool. Can you imagine if you could like craft your own planet? That actually sounds kind of neat.
I mean, that sounds pretty Chairman Drek-like. I'd be down with
Well,
that.
yeah, it does kind of. Actually, yeah, it does because you would like go to different planets and you would like harvest different things that you
Hmm
wanted, and then you could build your own. Yeah, actually,
I
we could
mean,
reenact. We
if I
could
could go to
reenact
some
Ratchet and
randomly
Clank.
generated planet and I could steal their wildlife and stick it on my planet, I'd be down with that. But
Yeah,
as the game is now, where you just get to crash into a planet and mine some carbon and then leave, it's, not really a fan. Now,
yeah.
okay, it does bother me on like a consumer level that they did kind of just lie to everybody?
Oh, they didn't kind of lie. They did lie.
Well, I was trying to be
Blatantly.
more generous with them. Because you could mark some of those things up to misinterpretations, like,
No.
they didn't outright say it did a thing it didn't do, but sometimes they did. But not
They
for all of it.
often I remember there was like a Reddit post where they like compiled all these things that they promised that weren't in the game, and there was a lot. There was real physics in the universe, like how all of the planets would be orbiting a sun, and things would be different depending on how close to the sun you were.
Okay,
Like,
but you have to kind of take those things in stride because there's a difference between, failing to meet a high goal and just outright,
okay,
being dishonest about it. Because
but
they
that's the
might have
thing.
intended to do those
If
things.
you're a consumer and you are at like a game show and you hear them say this game is going to have real space physics. This game is going to have I don't this game is going to have this big giant surprise in the center of the universe. This game is going to have multiplayer, and none of those things are true. It's always, and yeah, you're right that you can say, oh well, that's what they wanted to do, but they didn't quite reach it. It's like, yeah, I have sympathy because it's like I'd rather you shoot for this. I'd rather they aim
Shoot for
high
the
and
stars, Adam. Is that
yeah,
what
I
you're
know.
gonna
I was
say?
about to say that, but I corrected myself because I didn't want to go that deep into pun land. But yeah, I'm glad that they were striving for something amazing, but there's a difference between striving to do something amazing and promising to do something amazing and failing. And that's what they did. They
Well, okay,
said
there's
they were
also a
going to do
difference
all these
between
different
promising to
things.
do something amazing and then just outright not doing it, which I don't think is what they were trying to do. I think I want to believe in them, and I want to, I want to try to believe in the goodness of people and all that nonsense. But I think what happened was they made all these grand promises about what their game could do, and then when they sat down to make it, they were like, "Oh, this is actually a lot harder than we thought."
I
So
completely
they
agree.
just
Yeah.
started slowly cutting away features. The most outlandish things went first. The stuff they didn't really need, they just kind of looked pretty, like that orbiting around the sun thing. That's not necessary, and that's the
Mm.
kind of stuff that they just had to. And then eventually they went in with a meat cleaver, and they were like, "Well, we just got to get something done," and that's how you
Yeah.
wind up with a walking simulator that's interspersed with mining for carbon and flying a ship that you can't even crash.
I hate that. Oh, God.
I thought that was
Yes.
really
No,
funny that it doesn't let
you're
you die.
completely right. You're completely right. And like I said, the developers, I can understand how this happened. I do feel bad for them. I'm less mad at the developers, and I'm more upset that Sean Murray was going on all these different interview talk shows and stuff, saying that he could do all these things. There's a reason why, like, companies like Nintendo or companies like, to some extent, Sony, don't give you all the information from the get go. There's a reason why they don't tell you everything about this new game coming out. And that's because it's still in development and certain things might have to be cut. Certain things might be left on the development floor, I guess.
Hmm.
Like that is a necessary part of game development. You often, at least, can't do everything that you want to do. And I understand that, which is why companies shouldn't say they're going to do those things.
But Adam,
That's
you're not thinking like a multi-million-dollar company. You got to keep making promises and make until everybody in the audience goes woo, and then you know you succeeded.
no, Steve, that's bad business practice. I remember reading that No Man's Sky was going to get sued, like Hello Games was going to get sued for false advertising, and I agree. I'm sorry, but they did. That's what they did. It is. Oh, excuse me. I kind of burped a little bit. They had blatantly false advertising. They lied. They said something was going to be there and it wasn't there. I don't know what else to say about it. It's like that's it. It's not there. It should have been there. You said it was going to be there. I didn't, but I am as the theoretical customer. I bought this thing assuming this was going to be there. The reason I bought this was because this one feature I believed was going to be there and it wasn't there. That's false advertising, cut and dry. That's it.
Well, it's a little grayer than that, I think, but I think you might be right. Well, okay.
Anyway, we're getting so off track. So this whole thing about this tweet thing, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't think this is just some external hacker who came in because he was mad about some video game. I feel like there was something going on within the company.
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
know. I don't know the details.
One lone hero who made this brave tweet and then was immediately muffled out of sight by men in black suits.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't believe that. I think that this has something to do with an in-company issue, and I don't know what it is, but I would love to know. I would love to have the details, but maybe someday we'll get them.
What if
Okay,
it was
so we'll
like
move on.
what if it was like the intern that they hired to run the Twitter,
Yeah,
you know?
maybe it's that simple. Maybe it's like, oh no, it's just the intern. Like that's all it is. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, they should worry about it, but whatever. All right, moving on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to our next bit of news. Like I said, there's only a couple more, but Red and Blue are confirmed to appear in Pokemon Sun and Moon. They released another new trailer. Why are there so many Pokemon trailers? Good lord! Like
Because it's Pokemon.
I know it's Pokemon, but still, there's so many trailers for this game. So they confirmed those starters we talked about like last week. Like
Yeah,
we already
actual
knew for
in-game
sure.
footage of them
We
now.
already knew for sure that's what they were going to be. Oh, except for the grass one. It's going to be grass ghost.
Yeah,
What
I didn't
the-
know that. That's actually
what?
even cooler.
I don't agree. I wanted it to be flying, but whatever, I guess.
Well, it doesn't fly.
But it's a
Very
bird.
clearly doesn't fly.
I feel like it should though. It's a bird.
Well,
Tropius
ostriches
can
can't fly.
fly.
Don't be a racist, Adam.
Tropius can fly, and that's not and that shouldn't be able to.
DorkDuo can fly.
Wait. Yeah, you're right. DorkDuo can fly, and that makes no sense either, and that's basically an ostrich. Or well, actually
Well, whatever.
close enough. Whatever.
The best Pokemon, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only our mascot. Anyway, but going back to the Red and Blue thing, so in this trailer they showed off this like battle chateau kind of a thing, where you get to like fight like characters from previous games, like old gym leaders. You get to fight Wally from
Which is so cool, by the way.
yeah, it's really awesome.
I saw Steven was there. I love
Yeah,
Steven. Steven's my favorite.
there. But the real meat of it, the real like oh my god situation was Red and Blue. And I don't know if you saw this, but Red was wearing a shirt that said 96 on it, because that's the year.
Know.
That's the year that that Pokemon came out, was
Oh, that's
1996. Adorable. Yeah. So yeah, you get to fight against freaking Red and Blue. So you get to fight against well, it's basically your character and the asshole guy.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call him, Dickface.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
any permutation thereof. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
yes.
I think it's really cool that you can fight the rival from the first game, but I think it's extra cool that you can fight Red, because we haven't really been able to fight Red since Gold version.
Yeah, I think gold. If you went back to the first whatever it is, the first world, and then you beat all the gyms there, then you could go and you could fight the protagonist from the first game, which is really cool.
And it's always cool when you can do that, like the throwback thingy,
Yeah,
but
I love that too.
it kind of devalues them as a trainer, to be honest though, because you were like the champion. You beat the world, and you beat Blue with the final thing, and you beat the Elite Four and all that nonsense, and then some random kid just like dethrones you.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Also, I think it's weird that Red and Blue are pals now, because you basically ruined Blue's life while you were Red. Yeah,
you kind of did actually.
It seems weird that they would be friends.
Maybe they're not pals. Maybe they're just forced to be next to each other, but they actually hate each other.
Maybe. I mean, we only got to see like one dialogue exchange between them.
The thing is, though, I mean, like, you didn't really ruin his life. Like, what did you even do in the first game?
You stole his grandfather's love, and you beat him at every possible turn, and you stole the Pokemon Championship from him for having it for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's what you took from him.
So the whole thing about the grandfather's love
and you killed
thing,
his Rattata.
Okay, that's not true. Matt Pat had a theory on that.
I
It's not true.
know.
But anyway, the whole thing with grandfather's love, Oak was always a crazy old kook anyway. I don't really know if anyone, I don't even know if Red wanted Oak's love. Like Oak didn't even know what gender he was. Like seriously,
That's true.
it's awkward. Like no, and the whole like
Well,
beating
I
him at
mean, he
every
also
turn.
forgot his own grandson's name, but you know,
That's true too.
and then
Yeah.
he just takes your word for it.
Yeah. Oh, it's the grandson. It's Gary, Grandpa. What's his name again? It's Dickface. Oh, yes, Dickface.
Oh yeah, I remember him well.
Oh my God.
Grandpa,
Anyway.
why don't you love me?
Oh, Grandpa.
If only he had parents, because nobody in the Pokemon universe has parents except for you,
Except
and
for
you only
you.
have
Yeah.
one, because you come from
Actually,
a broken home.
I think May has parents. Like, I think your
She has a
rival.
mom, I think. Actually, that's true. In the third generation, you actually do have two parents, because your dad's the gym leader.
Yeah, yeah.
How exciting!
That's fun. Okay, we're getting so off track here,
Okay,
but
but I wanted to talk about Red some more.
oh sure, yeah.
It's weird that I mean, I guess it makes sense, but they kind of make it like a joke. Like he doesn't actually say anything in the trailer. He has like the three little dots, like instead of words.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
ass face or Dick or whatever, Gary is
Yeah.
like, oh, still silent as ever. I see. That's how I imagine the Legend of Zelda show taking off. Like Link just stands there, and the person's like, all right, well, he's not talking, but whatever.
I actually thought that was such a great thing because it would have felt weird if Red just suddenly started talking to you.
It
Like,
would have
it'd
been
be
weird, yeah.
so odd, and it's like no. I'm really
But they
glad that they kept that way.
But it's really weird because they address it that he doesn't talk when you're on that side of him. Because when you're in Gold version, when you like challenge him, he doesn't say anything either. But that's just before the fight, and he's like a ghost.
Right.
But
yeah,
now he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a real person on the other half of the conversation, and he just kind of stands there like,
So yeah, now we have it confirmed that the Pokemon protagonists they are being silent. Like it's not like just like a narrative thing. Like in
no,
Legend of
they
Zelda.
opt to not talk.
Yeah, like in The Legend of Zelda, it's often implied that you are speaking, we just don't hear it,
Yeah.
Like we're not privy to what he's saying. But with Pokemon, no, you are silent. You never say anything.
Well, actually, that's not true. You can say yes or no.
Yes, you can say yes or no and you can state your name on a few occasions. And that's about it.
That's actually true. Yeah, they just kind of maybe you're wearing a T-shirt with your name on it. You know? I'd actually kind of prefer that. Like you can only say yes or no, and people just read your little "Hi, my name is" tag on your shirt that your mom put there.
Can you imagine how great it would be, like, to have all of the protagonists in one room having silent conversations with one another? Just all staring at each other like,
Yes. No.
yes, 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 no. Adam, yes, no.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, yeah. You also get to say the words of your rival's name, so you can say a couple things, just
Yeah,
really
you could
far and
say-
in between.
So you could say 4 words. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Actually, the Pokemon would talk to each other more than
yes,
yeah.
it's true.
And we didn't get to see Red's party. I really wanted to see what Pokemon he has. Probably the same ones from Gold.
We saw that I think he
has
had
Pikachu.
Charizard.
He had Pikachu.
Yeah, or no, yeah, you're right. It was Pikachu. We saw that he had Pikachu, obviously.
Because Dickface had what did Dickface have? I forgot what Dickface had.
I forgot too. I don't remember.
It was one of his. Oh, it was Alakazam. He had Alakazam,
Oh yeah. That was it. You're right.
which is cool because Alakazam is cool.
Yeah, every trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon, I am more excited, and that's a weird feeling because like I don't know how I can continue being excited. Because like I'm already so excited.
Because I mean, every trailer shows you something that's more cool, and you're already excited. So there's nothing to get let down by yet.
Yeah, like it's amazing. Also, related to that, Pokemon Sun and Moon. This is our last bit of news here. Pokemon Sun and Moon is officially Nintendo's most pre-ordered game of all time. It is the number one. It holds the record for most pre-orders.
That deserves some clarification. That means together as one unit.
Yes,
they
together.
are, not individually.
Yes. But like I just find that amazing that a handheld game has the most pre-orders of any Nintendo game. Like Super Smash Bros? Nah. Like
Oh, that's
Mario
a good.
Kart?
I forgot about those. Yeah, that's a good
Mario
point.
Kart? Nah. No. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like that's staggering.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of cool stuff that was displayed in this one, but I would not have thought that it would have outranked those other, like, validate
Pe-
buying your Wii U games,
Man, people are excited. People really I can point to this as proof and say that we are not the only ones excited about this game. Like this game is gonna be huge. It's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. Oh my
I mean,
god.
Pokemon's pretty great. People should be excited about it.
So I think unless you have anything else to say about Pokemon, we can move on to our humble opinions.
I almost kind of want to just so we don't end that fast, but, if
I
we
don't
have
know what
nothing else
else
to say, we got nothing
yeah.
else to say.
Otherwise, we'll just be dragging it out, and we don't need to do that.
We don't. So, all right. I guess we'll move right on to those humble opinions then.
Yeah.
So,
So
you want to
you
go
want to
first?
kick? Now you can kick it off.
Okay. Well, I was kind of umming and ahhing. I suppose I could do both because there's one will take like 5 seconds and we have the time.
Yeah, we do.
So, okay. What I was gonna do was the Vixen cartoon on the CW. It's like a cartoon that takes place in the Flareoverse or whatever we're calling it now.
Yeah.
You know?
I call it the Flareoverse of tomorrow, or the Super Flareoverse of tomorrow. There it is.
Okay. Great. That. Um, and it was the first episode was pretty awesome. It was like all the best parts of the most recent Justice League animated movies, and those are a good time. I'm really enjoying those. Plus, it was the added sprinkles of being in the Flareoverse of Super or whatever you just said. So, it started out really strong, and then I went to go watch episode 2, and there was no episode 2. There was just season 2, episode 1. And
Yeah.
Adam tells
weird...
me that apparently that's how it's supposed to be, but I find that very confusing.
Each episode is like 5 minutes long, and so like what you watched was the entire first season. Like
why are they 5 minutes long?
Short.
That's just asinine.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's weird as well. Also, did you know that Vixen is in the shows now?
No, I did not know that.
That character showed up, and I think in Arrow. I think that character showed up in Arrow season 4, and she's also a previous incarnation of Vixen is in Legends of Tomorrow.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's kind of
well,
cool.
Anywho, that was pretty much all I had to say on that cartoon there, because I thought I maybe was broke it or something, and maybe I'll go watch episode 2/season 2 or whatever now.
Yeah, go ahead.
But my real one is I want to do a follow-up about Resident Evil, that HD remix or whatever that I did last week, because I have finished it since then, and I'd like to clarify a few things I was wrong about. Number one, I said that the zombies do not come back when you kill them. That was a dirty lie. They do come back, and they come back as running zombies.
Oh.
However, if I was paying attention, like the game tried to help me do, you can permanently kill them by destroying the head or burning them while they're down. And I didn't pay attention to that. I thought, burn them? They're already dead. Why would I bother? That was a bad call.
Steve.
Because
Steve,
then almost every
up.
zombie came back as a runner. And runner zombies are really hard.
Oh, God.
But it doesn't matter, because once you get far enough in the game, they start busting out super zombies, and you forget all about the runner zombies.
Oh.
Because eventually, they started busting out the hunters, which are giant alligator monsters, which are really, really scary. But the good news is, it doesn't matter how much health you have when you fight them, because they are an instant kill.
Oh, God.
So don't worry about that, everybody. It's awesome. Also, there's the spooky, creepy spider monster zombies that scuttle around, and also the regular giant spiders, but the regular giant spiders are a joke. That's no big deal. But I'd like to get a special hate on for how this game sort of has a branching path system and didn't bother to tell me. Because that is aggravating as all balls. Because, there's only a couple times where it really matters. And there are there's optional puzzles you don't actually have to do. Because I wound up finishing the game holding on to 3 random pickup items I just never found the solution for. I think one of them was it was a plank of wood with a piece of paper on it with no writing on it. And I had no idea how that applied to the story, so I just I never used it, and I guess I didn't need to, because I finished the game without it. But, so I did this thing I don't want to ruin it because I do think people should play this because it is fun. And apparently if you play as Chris or as Jill, the puzzles change, and I didn't know that,
That's
which
weird.
is aggravating because like it's just so much more complicated when you're playing as Chris. Life is easier when you're Jill for some reason. But um, I was doing this thing to save this guy, and you know, I succeeded in saving him. And then later in the game, there was this boss fight, and I found the secret hidden letter thingy that tells you how, it was a giant plant, whatever, it was a big old scary plant thing. And I found this letter that said, "Here's the combination of things you need to mix to kill this thing with poison." Just to kill it out, because there's, all the bosses have like a special,
Oh,
alternative killing thing.
that's cool.
Yeah, and that's how you're supposed to do that one. And I solved the puzzle to get into the locked medicine room where all the drugs were. And I was like, okay. So I just mixed the drugs together in that special formula. And then I tried to pick up an empty jar, and Chris says something stupid like, "Oh, you don't know anything about medicine. Better not take this empty jar," because Chris is too much of a meathead to read, apparently. But then I remembered early, I was dicking around in this room for like 20 minutes. Like, okay, they made me open this room, but there's nothing to interact with in here. So why am I in here? And then I remembered that 'cause if you're playing as Jill, you can just go in there and make it. She apparently has a knack for chemistry or something, and you can just do it right there. But if you're playing as Chris, you have to have this other girl do it. Because I remembered way earlier, when I was saving this other person, that this one chick he was with was really good with medicine. And I was like, oh, I have to go get her. Okay. So I go back to where I left her, but she was gone. And she
Wow.
wasn't where I left her at all, or indeed anywhere. So I looked it up, and apparently, when you first go into the boss room, a little cutscene triggers of like where he picks you up and throws you around and like drops you right in front of the door so you have a chance to fight him. Apparently, what's supposed to happen there is, she's supposed to come in that room, like just randomly show up behind you, and then you toss her the cookbook, and then you play as her to make the poison to kill the plant with. But that option never came up for me. Do you know why that option never came up for me, Adam?
Why?
Because I saved that guy in the first mission. Apparently, in order to succeed here, I had to fail earlier. And I don't know why that's the case.
That's hilarious.
It's so stupid, because that guy, spoiler alert, winds up dying anyway.
That's
So
amazing.
I was just supposed to have him die earlier, and it's really not hard to save him. So you'd have to, like, actively fail. Like, you'd have to actively choose to let him die just so that later on you could defeat this boss without having to shoot it. And I had to waste 5 magnum bullets on this thing to kill it. To be fair, I finished the game with 17 magnum bullets, so it's not that big of a deal. But the point is, I had to actually fight it instead of doing the cool alternative kill, just because, I was too good at the game early on, I guess. And that's really aggravating.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's dumb. I don't like
get
that at
that
all.
it has to have the dumb branching thing because you don't have to actually even have to save her, because there's a point way later in the game where you walk into this one room and you hear like above you like a scream, and it's her like in peril. You don't have to go save her though. You could just like let her die,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it
well.
doesn't even it basically just goes, oh, she's up there, and then it just lets you walk around the room again. So I bailed to go save her from a hunter, which I had to shotgun blast in the back of the head and immediately kill, which was hilarious. Oh yeah, I'm gonna really quick about the hunters. I didn't think they were a threat first, because the first one I encountered gets all this little pomp and ceremony cutscene thing, and then I just immediately headshotted it. And I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. So I just, the next room I come into, there's 2 of them, and I'm like, oh, whatever, YOLO, Leroy Jenkins, let's do this. And then they immediately tackle me and claw my face off and instant kill me, and it's like, oh, I was not prepared for this today. But anyway, so you can I went and saved her, which you did not have to do, but then she wouldn't appear at the last level, and then you have to do this thing that, would take extra time, but since you have her, you can just have her auto path and do it, so it saves you some time there. It's just kind of stupid that it doesn't tell you that those things happen, because I had no way of knowing letting that guy live, which the game seemed pretty intent on me doing, was going to make it harder for me later. That should not be how it works.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's bullshit. Like, that's not cool at all.
Yeah, and also...
the game should not do that at all.
Yeah,
No.
and also there was a giant snake boss that you were supposed to get this item from behind. Yeah, there's a giant snake. There's also a giant spider. Um, and I didn't kill it. I just ran past it. And it shows up later if you didn't kill it. I think that's the case for all the bosses. If you don't kill them in their original boss area, they have another area where they show up.
That
Because
sucks.
there's this one thing in the little girl in chains who like randomly sneaks up on you in this one house that's very obviously a trap, but whatever. And I just ran past her, like, because she took a swing at me and whiffed it, and I was just like, all right, we'll see ya. And I never fought her again. And she shows up later, and I don't know if you can actually kill her before that, because it would have been really nice to have this one puzzle area not filled with her to do the puzzle with. But whatever. And then the giant snake like shows up in this library, and it makes you fight, and I don't know if it shows up permanently, but I killed it with the knife.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah,
I'm
like
proud.
my starting machete. I just ran behind it and I stabbed it in its ass a bunch of times and I killed it.
Oh,
You're probably supposed to shoot it with strategy and stuff, but
I
like it can't turn around, so you just run in circles and poke it in the butt and then it dies.
oh God.
It was
Okay.
really stupid.
No,
So
that's how
that was
you
my
win.
Resident Evil experience. It's still really fun, and I still think it's really good. Um, it is really aggravating how much backtracking you do, but that's just the name of the game.
Mm.
And it's really aggravating that the game decides that things have consequences but doesn't feel the need to tell you about them.
Yeah, that seems like poor game design. Just
Well,
straight
I
up.
mean,
Like
I think this was
I don't
before.
know how you can design a game that is based around like, oh no, you did this incorrectly earlier without at least giving you some reason to believe that's even an option.
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's like, oh no, you had to fail at this point so that you could later, have this one person show up. Like that's just so stupid. Like it's like no no
Yeah,
no no no. You should
it is. It is pretty dumb.
unless you said at the beginning of the game, like, your choices have consequences.
Well, no,
And
they did not do that. And okay, I'm glad they didn't do that, I guess, because that basically means this game's going to be dumb. If that screen ever comes up, it automatically means it's going to be stupid. But
I don't agree,
I
but
would have
okay.
liked some indication, of like don't fuck it up here. Because like, okay, I told you that guy dies anyway, right?
Yeah.
And he dies in the least important way possible. Basically, I think they designed the game where he dies here because they didn't want to have to carry him the rest of the plot. Like, because he's really unimportant. He
Hooray.
basically just exists to carry you and this other girl together. You know?
That's oh, I think I see. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
he's basically just there to introduce you to her because she's important to the story for the rest of
okay,
the
okay,
rest of the go,
gotcha,
unless you
gotcha.
let her die, of course. And even at the last seconds of the game, they don't give you a break because there's the giant zombie thingy, right? The final boss, the super zombie titan here,
Mm.
who's basically Nemesis from the movies. Um, he's got her in like this chokehold thing. He's about to stab her, and you can shoot him a bunch to like, if you shoot him like 90 million times, he'll like throw her away instead of stabbing her and then come after you. And then the last like thing you're supposed to do is survive for 3 minutes against him, and before your helicopter shows up to save you. And like 30 seconds before the timer thing falls, you get this big rocket launcher thing, and you're supposed to like shoot him with it and blow him up, right? And that does kill him, but when you first get it, he already has a hold of her. So you have to like, if you want the easy shot, you have to blow her up.
Wow.
I know. So instead, I had to switch to my other gun and then like shoot him a million times to distract him and then make him charge at me because he has like a stupid charge move that he does that he can like immediately go into. He doesn't have like a little run up or anything. It's just like automatically starts charging. So it's like, oh good, dodge roll that. Except you can't. So tank controls to the left of that. And then like I had to shoot him off screen to make sure that he wasn't near any of the people because I didn't want to blow anybody up and jeopardize all that work it took to get these people to survive this far because apparently the game was just against them the whole time.
Did you win? Did you do it? I have to
I did. I
know.
got the best possible ending. Everybody lived. Me and Jill and the girl Rebecca all lived.
Good for
Because
you, Steve.
actually, I don't think you even have to save Jill at the end, because Jill is in like this little prison cell thingy, and at the end of the game, and you unlock all the doors when you're leaving. But unless you go and get her specifically, I don't think she actually comes with you. I went to go get her to be sure, but I think you can actually just bail and leave Jill there.
Well, the doors are open. She'll figure it out.
Yeah, I know, but she doesn't actually leave the room until you go and get her.
Oh, great.
So I mean, and there's a self-destruct going. So I feel like maybe she would have not made it if I had not held her hand the whole time.
God, this is
And I
like,
was worried Rebecca wasn't going to make it either, because you send her off to set the self-destruct, and then you don't see her again till the last fight there. So I thought maybe she died too, and I was paranoid about that. And I was like, whatever. So yeah, it's and then when you beat it, you get like super hardcore mode where your chests are no longer linked where you store your items, so you have to put them in one specific place and then walk all the way back to go get it, which is really annoying. I'm glad that's not part of the actual game. And you may aim manually, which I haven't bothered to do that mode yet because I'm pretty much done with this game, I think. But,
yeah, I think that's about it. Now you gotta play that Transformers game and tell me what you think about that.
Well, now I got to play as Jill because the Jill half is
Oh,
different.
come on, really?
I know.
You're not gonna
I'm
do
probably
that,
not
are
gonna.
you?
I'm not gonna. No.
I wouldn't have the patience for that, man. I would never do it.
Well,
No,
I mean,
no
I
way.
know. I know the solutions to most of the puzzles now.
That's true,
But
but
it's like
still.
13 hours of backtracking, so I'm not about to go and do that. So no, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so
Are you about done, or can I
yeah,
do
so I didn't even say my humble opinion. In my humble opinion, that stuff I said. All right, your turn.
mine? Okay, got it. Okay, so, in my humble opinion, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is okay.
Great. That's
It's
pretty much all I
no,
expected.
no. I'll go a little bit more detail, but it's one of those films that like I wasn't insulted by it. I wasn't amazed by it. I was just kind of like I kind of watched it and then I was like, well, I did see that. Like it's okay, I guess. Like I
I have
didn't
brain cells permanently dedicated to that now.
like okay. It's it's a fun thing. It's fun to watch. The visuals are amazing. The CGI is honestly some of the best CGI I've seen. Like the monsters in the movie, like they're like these creepy hollow ghast things. They look like fantastic. Like I was never like, oh no, that's fake. Like I was just like, wow, I'm terrified of these things. So,
Good, good.
but there are a few things that I don't like about the movie. I'm gonna just do a very brief synopsis of the plot. So basically, the plot of this movie is there's this one kid who has his grandfather who always told him all of these stories of these peculiar children who lived in this special home, where all the peculiar children live. And it's like in the middle of like Wales, I think. And then when that grandfather dies, in under mysterious circumstances, this kid decides, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go to that home, and I'm gonna find out if Grandpa was telling me the truth this whole time. If there are peculiar children out there. So he goes there and he finds that it's destroyed. It's just this. Turns out that the home was bombed back in World War II, and he's like, oh my god, like this it's all lies. Like my grandfather lied to me this whole time. Um, or my grandfather was like dealing with his grief for all these children dying by pretending they were still alive. I don't know. Either way, this is ridiculous. Like it's all nonsense. But then he stumbles upon the peculiar children. They just kind of show up for no apparent reason whatsoever. And he's like, "What? You're all supposed to be dead." And they're like, "Oh, we're not dead. Come with us. We'll show you." And then he goes inside this little cave thing, which is like apparently a time portal or something. And then he goes back to 1942, which is on the day that the bomb was dropped on the house. And then he finds out that the peculiar children are all still alive. And the way that it works is, there's this mother peculiar person. I'm trying to remember what they're called. I can't think of the name, but there are these certain kind of peculiar people who can turn into birds, and they can also rewind time back one day, once a day. So what these people do is they will go off and gather peculiar children all together and then find a safe little area, like a safe home for all of them to live together, and then they just find like the perfect day and they just keep rewinding time every day. So, like, right as soon as the bomb is dropping, this Miss Peregrine is her name. She's like this headmaster. Um, Rewinds time back one day, and then they just live through that day again, literally for infinity. Like it never stops. Like they just keep rewinding time. None of them age. They're always the same age, and time does keep moving around them. It's just that they are not seeing any of it. They're just stuck in this one day. But it's like there still is a present day. Like they're like the present day is 2016, even though all of these kids are still reliving 1942.
That's very bizarre. So
It's
like in their
really
own little bubble, time doesn't move.
yes, they're in like their own little bubble of time. And oh my god, this movie is so it, I'm not gonna I don't really want to spoil it for anyone out there who hasn't seen it. Like I'm not gonna go into like precise spoilers, but near the end of the movie there's a lot of time travel shenanigans where again I'm not trying to go into really in-depth spoilers, and also it doesn't really matter. Basically they end up leaving that home and going to a different so they leave the home in 1942. They go to this to another home for peculiar children, which is in its own time bubble of 2016, but like earlier in the year. So they enter that time bubble, and suddenly they're all transported to 2016, like just like that, I guess.
Okay.
And keep in mind they were in 1942 at the time, so I don't. There's so many paradoxes in this movie. It's so hard to wrap my mind around. So that time bubble shouldn't exist yet, right? That time bubble shouldn't exist because they're still in 1942, but they go there anyway and they can get through.
Well,
And
no, I thought only time for them stood or rewound or whatever. I thought the rest of the world around them kept going.
well, see, they did, except when they left, it was still 1942. Like it's not like they leave the house and then it's 2016. They leave the house and it's still 1942. They get to this one area and then it's suddenly 2016 again. And I don't it really I have a hard time understanding it.
Well, I didn't see it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't
But that
I know
sounds
you
confusing.
don't know, but still it's the movie is really confusing. So
Who's the villain? Is it the Relentless March of Time?
No, it's not. The villain are these grown up peculiar children, these peculiar people, I guess, who decided that they didn't want to live the same day over and over again until the end of time, and so they decided that they are going to figure out a way to make themselves immortal, but still be able to participate in the world and not just be in one stupid place reliving the same day forever.
Well, that sounds better.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of sided with them in some ways. Like I was kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't want that. like,
Living the day over and over again sounds like it sucks.
yeah, it does. It really does. Like, oh my god. But so yeah, these guys, they capture these people who turn to birds and can rewind time, and they like drain them of their essence and put it into themselves, which allows them to live longer, but it also makes them nasty little monsters. Like they have like white eyes, and like they're all grotesque looking, and they got like tentacles.
This is
They've
one
got
of those deal with the devil, get what you want, but for cost kind of deals.
yeah, it's kind of like that. But when they turn into these disgusting tentacle monster creatures,
Oh,
if
tentacles, sure, sure.
yeah, if they eat the eyes of peculiar children, and it has to be children, it can't be adults.
Where's the cutoff?
What do you mean?
Where's the cutoff for peculiar children? If I ate somebody's
I don't
eyes
know.
who is 17,
I don't
would that
know.
be adult or children?
They didn't explain
Well, it seems
that.
like it matters.
They didn't explain it, so I don't know. Keep in mind that the peculiar children like go on for infinity because they're all stuck inside this time bubble where they
Okay,
never age.
I guess it doesn't matter then.
Yeah. So if they eat the eyes and like a lot of eyes of peculiar children, then they can regain a mostly humanoid form where the only thing that they like their eyes will still be white and they still have like sharp fingernails, but other than that, oh, and they have sharp teeth too. But that's about it. Like they're
Those
pretty
can all
much
be filed.
what?
Those can all be filed down.
Yeah, I guess.
That's fine. Put some context
But
in.
yeah, they're pretty much humanoid, and they can actually speak again, and they can they can be rational. But before, they're just kind of monsters. Like, they don't really have any kind of like like
Ah,
intelligence to speak of.
gotcha.
So they eat
Just
these
a
eyes.
hunger for eyeballs.
So they eat these eyes. And then they become mostly humanoid. I guess. And
Okay,
oh my
is
god,
it
it's so
like
confusing.
when they eat a pair of eyeballs, do they get a little bit more human every time, or is it like the Smurfs where you got to eat a certain number of them to make it work and do anything?
I'm thinking that it's like the Smurfs because
Okay.
we never actually saw them go in any kind of in between stage when they were
Okay. So
like,
you just snap back to human one day
okay,
after
well, I
you've
mean,
eaten your
it's not like
requisite amount of eyeballs.
instantaneous. Like, they do kind of like have this transformation, but it doesn't like take a prolonged period of time. It's just like you eat a bunch of eyes, and then you kind of you're like, and then you go back to mostly
Oh,
human.
okay. I can visualize.
Yeah. And the main villain of this group is Samuel L. Jackson. And he is honestly like the best part of this movie. He is having a blast the entire way through. Like, because you can tell that he knew how stupid this movie was, and he just didn't care. Like, he's just like, "Yep, I'm gonna make this work," and so he's just hamming it up the entire time, just really, really like, "Come on, children, I'm here for your eyes." Like, he was just
Oh my god.
he was so
Tired of all these
ridiculous.
motherfucking children on this motherfucking 1942.
It was really like, I loved him. But the other issue that this movie has is it has like anime protagonist syndrome, in that the main character is the absolute least interesting character in the movie. Like,
Oh,
there
okay.
are all these kids. There are all these kids with all of these different weird powers. That's what being peculiar means, is you have these weird powers. There's like this
Mm-hmm.
one kid who has all these like plastic heart things, and if he puts the plastic heart inside anything, like any inanimate object, he can make it come to life.
Oh.
You know, like he can put it inside a dead body, and then the dead body will like come to life as his puppet, or like
Oh.
he'll put
Okay.
it inside like I don't know, what's another example. He put it inside like this big, like this like robotic elephant thing, and then the elephant thing came to life. Like, it's kind of cool. And then
I
like,
think that's the rat talisman from the Jackie Chan show.
yeah, it's a lot like that. But like, that's just his power. He can just like do that. There's like another kid who's super strong, pretty easy. Another kid who can set anything on fire if she touches it with her hands, like the palms of her hands.
That's inconvenient.
She wears like these really thick rubber gloves that she can't set on fire, like, all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
Let me think. There's another girl who has like air powers, so she's like always like, if she doesn't wear like these big like iron boots, she's like floats away, and she can
That
like,
sucks.
yeah, I know, but she can also like blow air out, and like for like a ridiculously long time, which is kind of fun.
I'm
And
sure there's lots of uses for that.
actually, there are several times where it's really useful. But I don't know, like, all of these powers are really cool. It's basically X-Men is what it is. It's
Okay.
it's
Basically,
X-Men
yeah.
but more British. Uh
Oh, all right.
but then there's this kid, the main guy. So you have all these characters who are all these have all these really interesting powers. They've been stuck inside this time bubble for a long time, so they're all itching to get out, and they're like so curious about like what the modern day, and they are all really interesting characters.
Boy, that sounds like an anime.
Yeah, it really does, actually. And then you've got this protagonist whose only power is that he can see those like monster things. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. For everybody besides the main character, those monsters are invisible, except for when they're in their human form. When they're in their human form, everyone can see them fine.
Wait, so the eyeball hunting gremlins are invisible?
Yes, the eyeball
Well, that's
hunting.
just not fair to everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, so the eyeball hunting gremlins are invisible, but once they regain their human form, they are no longer invisible. Yeah.
Well, who cares at that point? They're not
And
hunting eyeballs anymore.
well, no, I think, and this wasn't very clear in the movie, but I think they have to continue to eat eyeballs. Like, I don't think, I think
Well,
they,
there's only so many magic children in the world, right?
well,
How are they planning
yes,
on?
I don't know. That's another thing. What's their
Wait.
plan?
If you take the eyeballs from somebody in the little time loopy thing, and then they loop the day again, will they get their eyeballs back?
Um,
Because then you
I
would
don't
just
think
harvest them.
no, I don't think so because the way that the time loop works is it doesn't affect the people who are there. Like like when they do the time loop thing, you remember the previous day. It's not like everything resets and you're just back to the way you were one day before.
Well, Marty McFly remembered all of his past time travels, even though he messed up the timeline. But that doesn't mean the time didn't change around him.
Yes, but
So would he have got his eyeballs back if a gremlin stole them?
I don't know. I don't know. They didn't they didn't really go into that. I don't think so. I don't think he would though. I don't think so. Because there was one kid who they had with them who actually did have his eyeballs taken from him, and he was dead. But they kept his body around, which I thought was really creepy. But they did have the one guy who could like reanimate him temporarily by like putting that heart in him. So I don't know.
Yes.
They just kept his body like in the upstairs bedroom, and I was like, this is really creepy. Like it's really weird.
That is really weird.
But yeah, so the only thing that the main character can do is see the monsters and otherwise just be uninteresting in every capacity. Like he's so boring. And
Oh, protagonist son, I'm so glad you can see the gremlins for us.
yeah, exactly. And like the only thing that he ever does is see the monsters, and I guess he leads them at a certain point. Like he kind of steps up as like a leader. That's it. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. He's just kind of there. I
Weird.
Okay, I guess. Ugh.
Weird.
But the guy who plays him is Asa Butterfield, who I really like as an actor.
I'm sorry, what was that name again?
Asa Butterfield.
That's a great name.
I know. But like I thought he was in oh, what's it called? Ender's Game. He was in Ender's Game, and I thought he did a really good job in Ender's Game. That movie has its own set of issues, but I thought that the main character in that movie was fantastic. But oh my god, is he just awful in this? He is so boring, and his acting is all over the place too. Occasionally he'll be like super sarcastic and like all like emo goth kid, like everything is terrible, and then other times he'll be like super happy and like, no, we can't give up, everybody, we have to keep going. Like I don't know, his characterization is all over the place. The acting doesn't really, I feel like he's doing his best with a really weird script that like I can't follow. I just his character is so boring, and so it's a hard time to really get invested in the movie when you absolutely don't care what happens to the main character.
You're right, that would make it tough.
It is a problem. But that all of this being said, it was enjoyable to watch. I liked watching it, but it's one of those films that I feel like I'm going to forget about in like a couple of weeks. Like I'm just gonna be like, okay, and that's it, and I'm never gonna think about that movie again. Like, yep. It's a very forgettable movie. Not bad, not very good, mostly just forgettable.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim Burton.
That was a Tim Burton movie?
Yeah, it's a Tim Burton movie.
Did he write it, or did he just like
He
direct
directed
it or
it.
something?
It's based on a book, and apparently the book is better. Of course, that's always true.
Well, I
but
mean,
still.
generally that speaking, yeah, I'd imagine so. I'd imagine that whole
I'm getting so
eyeball
sick.
eating gremlin thing gets much more fleshed out in
Yeah,
the book.
I'm sure it makes way more sense in the book.
I mean, it couldn't make much less sense apparently.
Yeah, it's really weird. But I feel it's a weird movie. And I'm getting really sick of everyone trying to figure out what the next Harry Potter is going to be. I'm getting really tired of it.
Oh, you mean like the next Harry Potter, as in the next fandom equally Harry Potter,
Yes.
not the next movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean. I mean like
Okay.
the next young adult book series that they're going to adapt into a movie, and it's going to be the next big moneymaker, because there's
Obviously,
only been
it's Pride and Prejudice.
There's only been two that have worked, and it is Harry Potter and Hunger Games. That's it. That's the only ones that people actually care about.
Do we not count Lord of the Rings in that area?
Oh God, no! Lord of the Rings is not a young adult novel. Lord of the Rings is a straight up fantasy novel, and it is godsend. It is amazing. Lord of the Rings is the best thing ever. All right.
Okay. Glad I know.
So let's do WhoDaWin, which I still don't have my I still don't.
Adam, I put more names in my cup of contestants.
Okay. Let's just do this, Steve. Don't worry about it. So
Okay,
I'm going to
whatever.
pick Miss Peregrine as my first one.
Oh, okay. I will pretend like I know anything you're talking about when you say things.
Don't
about
worry.
It.
I remember her pretty well.
Okay. I'm gonna grab from the top here so I can get some of the new ones that I just put in.
Okay.
Okay. So I got Kenshin the Manslayer.
I have
from
no
Rurouni
idea.
Kenshin.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
From Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. He's a samurai guy, but he doesn't kill people.
Okay. Fine. So what's the
Best character design?
Miss Peregrine's actually pretty good. Wait, are we talking physically or
Physically, yes.
Physically.
Okay, this is kind of dumb because you don't know my person and I don't know your person, so I can't confirm or deny who wins. So maybe you pick a different one. I'm gonna pick a different topic.
Okay, go ahead.
That's not gonna work for me. All right. Who defeats their enemy more?
I don't know anything about your guy, but my person doesn't really try to defeat the enemy. She's mostly just trying to escape the enemies that she can go back to caring for her children. So, no, she never really defeats the enemy.
Okay.
Ever.
Well, Kenshin has quite a few enemies, but he is an anime protagonist and therefore pretty much always wins.
Yeah, so
He doesn't really have any reoccurring enemies per se, but he pretty much hasn't lost yet.
well,
so,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go with you winning then.
Yeah, that's pretty conclusive.
Okay.
All right.
Next, I'm going to pick Kirby. I'm gonna pick Kirby. Not relevant to our discussions today, but I like Kirby.
Not at all, but okay. I got Chris Redfield.
Oh, you were just talking about him.
I know.
Ah.
Okay. Most likely to win the Hunger Games.
Well, Kirby could just eat everything.
Yeah, Kirby could just eat everybody.
But Chris Redfield's really good at surviving pretty much any situation.
That's true. Chris Fuck Boulders Redfield is a pretty good making it to the end of the game kind of guy, since he's been doing it for years now.
Yeah.
Zombies are a little different than teenagers with bows and arrows and pitchforks and stuff, but he also fought giant death monsters. So I think they would both probably win.
Yeah, I know.
But
okay.
I think Kirby would win harder because Kirby is a literal monster.
A literal monster? That's not entirely true.
He eats people and absorbs their souls and weaponizes them to kill other people.
Okay, well, when you put it like that, I guess that's true. But so fine, I guess.
Chris Redfield's just a doof with a gun and a stupid haircut.
All right, fine. We'll give it to Kirby, so I win. Ah, yes.
Yay! Okay, so tiebreaker round. Here we go.
Yep, last one. Here we go.
I got Corvo from Dishonored.
Oh yeah, crap! I didn't pick anyone.
Well, I got Corvo.
I guess I could do Deadpool, but that's not fair. So I'm gonna pick. What's his name? Crap. Dorian from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Is that the dwarf?
He's gay and he is a mage.
And is he the first guy you meet? Is he your first starting mage guy?
No, that's Solus.
Okay, then I have no idea who you're talking about.
Don't worry. You don't meet him unless you got far into the game, which you didn't, so.
I was beaten to death by a herd of wild wildebeests, Adam. I didn't have the patience to finish that stupid game.
A herd of wild wildebeest? Where the heck were you?
I told you this already. I attacked some farm animals and was beaten to death.
Oh yeah,
they had like
because you're not
70
supposed
more
to
life
kill the
than
farm
me.
animals, Steve. You're not supposed to try
Well,
to
excuse me
you
for...
don't kill the Druffalo. The Druffalo kill you, Steve.
Excuse me for trying to blaze my own fantasy adventure by killing the buffaloes.
They're Druffalos.
Whatever. Why does the game get to tell me I can't kill the farm animals? I want to kill the farm animals. That's my fantasy adventure.
Okay, let's just move on. So
Whatever. My horned
Dorian.
wizard has a hatred for farm animals. Screw you, man. Whatever. Okay. A better premise for a sitcom.
Okay, well
I already
Dorian
forgot who you picked. Who did you pick? Oh yeah,
Dorian
the
is a
wizard
is a
guy.
gay mage, so that's already good sitcom material. Like, it doesn't even I don't even have to try. And
I
what
don't know
was
if you could really rewrite Corvo to be a sitcom.
I
I mean,
you could
okay,
not
I guess you
possibly
could.
make Corvo into a sitcom. Corvo is like a nameless or not nameless, but he is a
Yeah, his name is all he has.
he is a voiceless, uninteresting protagonist. He does
That's
nothing.
that's very
He
true.
has
I
no
kind of meant his
personality.
story. You could rewrite his story of the daughter not being kidnapped to the daughter not loving him, and he has to work to earn the daughter's love because their mother died, and now she's all he has.
Yeah,
But that's not really a sitcom so much as that is
that's
a
a
tragic
drama.
soap
That's a
opera.
drama. A
So
shitty
yeah,
drama, even at
yeah.
that. Like, no. Dorian, you could put him in practically any sitcom situation and he'd be hilarious because Dorian is a gem. And
Okay.
oh, let me put it this way, Steve. I am not gay, but when I play Dragon Age Inquisition playing as a dude, I always romance Dorian because he's the only character that matters. He's the only
Oh,
one
okay.
who's worth romancing.
Really? Because I kind of thought that rogue with the hood was kind of cute.
The rogue with the hood?
Yeah, from like the tutorial level.
Oh, she is cute. You're right, but
I
you
was I was
can't
probably gonna
romance
pick
her.
that one if I actually made it far
You
enough to
can't
bother
romance
romancing
her,
anything.
Steve. You can't romance her.
What? Oh, that game sucks even worse then. What's the point? Where's the fantasy adventure? Let me pick who I put my dick in. Why you gotta ruin my fantasies?
Anyway, so yeah, definitely Dorian. Dorian is perfect for any sitcom situation.
All right. Well, you win this week, unless you want to do more. But
No, I'm
otherwise, I
good.
think you win
I
this
win.
week then.
I win this week.
All right.
Woo! I'm the champion. Okay.
Totally. After 1 week, definitely champion material.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So that'll be it for this week. If you like us and you want to see more of us, go ahead and subscribe and like our video. And you can always interact with us on Twitter at the DorkDuo. That's it. At the DorkDuo. And as always, may your princess be in the right castle. May the force be with you. See you, Space Cowboys.